and good afternoon, and welcome to Youth Voices Matter for Democracy. My name is Arnitra Duckett, and I am the president of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Rho Mu Omega chapter here in Washington, D.C. This afternoon, you are in for a treat that is extremely important to each and every one of us on this webinar this evening. As we know, the voices of our youth matter, but they often go unheard, especially in times like this when we are in very, very important situations. As you know, this is a critical election period. And while our youth are not able to vote because they're not of age yet, they have a lot to say and a lot that they want us to know as voters. So thank you for joining us this afternoon as we hear about the issues that are extremely important to our youth, issues that impact not only the immediate future that we live in currently, but issues that will impact them as they continue their journey into adulthood. Before we begin, I want to introduce a few of my friends who are joining me this afternoon. I first want to give thanks to those members of Rho Mu Omega chapter who lead our Youth Leadership Institute and have made this afternoon critical and a success. I'd like to introduce Angela Thompson, our fearless leader, Ms. Sherelle Stagg, and Vice President and Program Chairman, Shauna Berry, who is also one of our program leads, Andrea McCoy Johnson, our co-chairman for our Youth Leadership Institute, Miss Brenda Civils, and Miss Angela Page, who are dedicated volunteers who work with our Youth Leadership Institute and make it the success that it is. I also have several other friends here today who brought their youth leaders as well, because we wanted to make sure that we had a very diverse voice and a voice that you all heard from various leadership organizations. Each of these leaders is going to bring 30-second greetings and welcome you as well. And we'll start with Kenneth Ward, Executive Director of College Bound.
Good evening. I'm honored to be here with you. I'm thankful for the partnership that we have with the Rho Mu Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. And I'm really proud of the students that I get to serve with at College Bound. College Bound is a small local nonprofit. We're serving about 225 students in our academic mentoring program this year and 150 students in college. We graduate 100% of our students from high school. We have a 100% college acceptance rate, 99% college enrollment rate, and over a 70% college graduation rate. So again, I'm excited to be here and excited to partner with Rho Mu Omega in making the future brighter for the students that we serve.
Thank you, Mr. Ward. Up next is Ms. Vanessa Grant, President, Federal City Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having us today. While many of our youth and our programs aren't yet eligible to vote, they do have strong opinions on the issues affecting their community and the nation. Their perspectives, without the weight of political biases, can offer fresh insights into resolving social issues. It's truly inspiring to witness how encouraging they are, how civic aware they are, their open-mindedness in the next generation, and they can also shape our future. So we can learn a lot from the youth today, which is the perspective that they bring that is very clear and, like I said, unbiased. Thank you for joining us today, and we hope that you enjoy the evening with our youth.
Thank you so much, Ms. Grant. Holly Townsend, President, Jack and Jill of America, Montgomery County Chapter, and Ms. Yelena Lopez Lewis, Lead Teen Advisor, Jack and Jill of America, Montgomery County Chapter.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for having us join with you today. We are truly excited about being here. I'm the president of Jack and Jill of America, Montgomery County, Maryland chapter, and we have over 125 moms and 271 children, and we are just excited about growing our young African American leaders, and we are just happy to be here and can't wait to hear what they're going to say. So I'm going to let my lead teen advisor also speak.
Good afternoon. I'm so excited to be here for us to amplify our youth voices in our community. I look forward to this eye-opening discussion with our youth tonight, and thank you for participation in this.
Thank you, Ms. Townsend and Ms. Lopez Lewis. Kevin Jones, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, Washington, D.C. Alumni Chapter, and he is our Kappa League Chairman.
Greetings. I bring you greetings from the Washington, D.C. Alumni Chapter, where our 49th poll mark is Donald Greenwood. We're very excited for this invitation to bring our young youth. We have some dynamic young men in our program. The Guide Right program has been in existence for over 100 years, just celebrated 100 years in 2022. So when we heard this opportunity to have our youth get out and speak about this important voting process, I couldn't think of a better way to send it off. So again, I'd like to congratulate the program for bringing this together. I think this is a very great idea, and I'm excited about the outcome. Thank you again.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. And Ms. Crystal Pittman, National Director, Top Teens of America.
Good evening, everyone. I am so delighted to be here. And on behalf of our national president and CEO, Lady Eddie Lee Marsh, I bring you greetings. And it is a wonderful opportunity. And I thank you, Romeo Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. I thank you because the youth voices are sometimes not heard. This is an opportunity to hear our young people speak up and speak out about what matters to them and what's very important. And again, I thank you. I'm so excited to be here. And you have three of our top teens of America. And I thank you again.
Thank you so much, Ms. Pittman. So as you can see this afternoon, we are going to hear from our kids and our students and our youth leaders. I am asking and imploring each person on this call tonight to listen and listen very carefully. Listen to what our youth are telling us. Listen to how they are telling us, and listen to what is important to them. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Angela Thompson, who will be our moderator for this afternoon.
Thank you so very much, Ms. Arnitra, and I am so honored that each of our adult leaders have poured into these amazing youth spokespeople who we call tweens and teens. Not only are they prepared, but they are ready to lead the world, and their voices really do matter. Just a bit about how we got here is that we each take time to make sure that we're not only leading and into goal setting all the way through life skills, but they pour as much into themselves as they do to us. And to all of the parents that have nurtured them and have gifted them to us, we salute you as well. These young people speak not just for themselves, but they speak for other youth who have similarities in terms of their experiences and the lens in which they view the world. And I can tell you right now, it is 4:44 Eastern Standard Time. We are, depending on how you calculate it, 15 or 16 days away from a very important election. Regardless of who you vote for, it is important to vote no matter where you are, whether it be at the local, the county, the state, and most importantly at the federal top level, the national level. And so we want you all to hear what our young people have to say and what matters to them, and to do weigh in, give that due consideration, especially those that are on the fence. Tell somebody, let people know that we're not just voting for ourselves, and we are not just voting for one issue. We are voting for all of us, and we want to make sure that all of us includes the youth voices. So with that said, I want to welcome first and foremost Ms. Donnie. She is a member of the Youth Leadership Institute, and she is going to lead us in prayer. Donnie?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Donnie, and I'm going to begin in prayer. Dear God, as young people, we often feel like we are in a small world. Sometimes it seems like our voices don't matter. But today, I pray that we remember that youth voices matter. Help us find our courage to speak up for what we believe in. Give us wisdom to listen to others even when we disagree. Guide us to work together and build a better future for everyone. May our words be filled with kindness, hope, and desire for justice. Let us be a force to positive change in our community and our world. And God, please bless those who have been impacted by the hurricane. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen. Awesome. Donnie, that was awesome. Thank you so very much for that heartfelt prayer. Now I would like to welcome Miss Josephine. Miss Josephine is also a member of the Youth Leadership Institute, and she is going to introduce our keynote speaker.
Hi, my name is Josephine, and I'm 13 years old, and I will be introducing Ayema. At 17 years old, Ayema K. Awana is the youngest of 4 and considered to be the chief energy manager at home, where he liberally provides laughter and fun. Ayema is a recent graduate of the 3D Scholars Program at Charles H. Flowers High School, where he served as the ambassador of the Principal Action Council and is enrolled at Prince George's County Community College, studying cybersecurity. As a youth ambassador and public health activist, Ayema received the Governor's Citation. He is a 2-time first place recipient of the Veterans of Foreign Wars Voice of Democracy Award, and also serves in the Youth Leadership Council at First Baptist Church of Glenarden, where in 2023 he received an award for leadership. He also serves as a host for the pre- and post-worship experience for the First Baptist Church of Glenarden online campus. In spring 2024, Ayema traveled to Paris to be a part of an international youth leadership program. He was a 2-time panelist for the Youth Mental Health and Faith-Based Initiative for the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Ayema served as a keynote speaker at Columbia University for Youth Mental Health and Faith-Based Communities. He is a recipient of several school and community service awards. Ayema is an active member in the 13th Man in Manhood 101 mentorship programs, where the focus is character development, leadership, and service to the community. He is passionate about youth advocacy and youth mental health. To tackle the mental health crisis, he worked with the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services on the Suicide Prevention and Crisis Hotline 988-PSA. He served as a panelist for the White House's Black Youth Mental Health Convention in September 2024. Ayema is a published author of World Up in Spite Of. Please give a warm welcome to Ayema.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. I am so honored to be here. It is an absolute blessing. First and foremost, we just thank God for the opportunity to have the voice and to have a community like this, to be able to engage with others and just have such an important conversation. I want to take a brief moment to thank Miss Angela for the opportunity, Miss Shauna Berry, Miss Grant, Miss Page, and all of the people who are just putting in all the work behind the screens to really make this work. So again, everyone, my name is Ayema, and I'm honored to serve as your keynote here for today, where the conversation is about advocacy. My personal story, I'm the youngest of 4, as said previously. And what that means is that being the youngest, your voice also sometimes can't be heard because the eldest is taking the attention and the middle child might be reaching out to the parents stronger than the youngest does. And because I'm so young and everyone else has their own individual things that they're focused on with having 2 parents, it's hard to reach out and to get the attention that's needed, and to have a voice that's as strong and as deeply rooted to make decisions that might impact myself or even the position of my family. So what did that mean? Going into middle school, as I navigated that, I faced what is called an identity crisis, right? And many of you might have a similar experience or know what that may look like. Not knowing who I wanted to be, right? Was it a leader? Was it a follower? Was it someone who just wanted to be in my books? Or was it someone who was meant to stand out? I've been doing many community organizations and community events, and I learned along the way that ended up being my passion. Connecting with people and helping others see that they are just as important as the next person. And going into high school, that followed me. I very happily joined the Principal's Action Council my sophomore year. And from there, advocacy was the beginning, right? Getting in touch with that school community, being in the 3D Scholars Program, there's so much pressure. there's so much need for expectations and overachieving and excelling that sometimes it's hard for someone to just reach out and say, hey, I need help, or hey, this is where I am, because they're so used to you being one thing. And that's where advocacy came in. And my passion for advocating for such a thing was because I realized that oftentimes my peers and I struggle with so much more than just school. As young people, we face so much more. And that's why advocacy is so important, and it became my passion. So to start off, I just want to let everybody know that it begins with advocacy. This conversation could not be more important because as it stands right now, advocacy brings a sense of identity, purpose, and it fuels passion. Going through my high school career, I went through something where a very close leader of mine was taken away. He was placed on administrative leave, which meant that the vision for our school community and the connection and the bonds that we had started to weaken and deteriorate. But what did that mean? For the people who made that decision to take such a strong piece and pillar of our community away, they didn't know what that did to the young people like me who looked up to such a leader, right? Who went inside the classrooms and walked in the hallways and found the people who were skipping class and took the time to sit with them and understand, meet them where they are, right? And so what that meant was I had to take that pain and turn it into power. And that is what advocacy is about. Advocacy gave me the identity that I needed to speak up and speak out and reach out to people who were in power to make decisions that impacted my community. But that's not the only thing that I faced, because going through that time without a leader and without someone to help guide me, I faced mental problems as well. And we all know what the COVID-19 pandemic did, right? Sometimes when I was on school, virtual school, not knowing if when I get out of my class and I go into the living room and I see CNN, right, or see news, right, being able to see those numbers just go up every single day, wondering, am I going to be next? Wondering, am I going to be able to meet these classmates of mine face to face one day? Those were some of the things that we had to battle as young people, because the pandemic, granted, was hard for everyone, and each person faced their own individual thing in the pandemic. What I faced was isolation. And this all ties back into advocacy because mental health is a big factor in today's society. And amongst us, the youth, where we face things like depression, anxiety, negative ideations, childhood poverty, trauma, burnout, and lack of vision of hope. We as a collective need to do our research to know how to vote for what's not explicitly on the ballot. This is not just a vote for today and tomorrow, but it's a vote for right now. We're the leaders of today, but we're also the leaders of tomorrow. So what is this vote in November going to do to shape our environments and our communities, both today and tomorrow? And this is how we get involved. We have to amplify our voice. Now, how do you do that? It starts with involvement. Get involved in your youth groups, your school community, your church groups, or even more. There are plenty of opportunities all around that will help enrich your character. And as you sow a seed into your community, you will reap it back many times over in opportunities never seen before, right? School community, there are things like Student Government Association. There are things like the Principals Action Council, which was the first of its kind in Prince George's County, or just Prince George's, right? In that school community, we impacted so many. It gives you that sense of purpose. It gives you that sense of identity, where when you see someone who isn't doing the best that they can, someone who may be dropping their grades because they're overwhelmed, as a leader, as someone who cares about their community, as someone whose voice is amplified, you can reach out to that person and say, hey, what are you going through? What is stopping you from being able to connect with the school and the resources that you need to excel? And when you meet your peers where they are, we are able to reach out to the adults. We are able to reach out to the leaders and the people who are making those rules and making those laws to say, hey, this is something that's important. Another way that we amplify our voice is through relationships. There are three main categories that we should all be cognizant of trying to build more and more in. The first one is mentor. Mentorship is so critical for each and every single one of us, especially as a youth. I went through so much during the pandemic, and facing that isolation and those negative ideations, that anxiety, that trauma, that burnout, just wanting to give up, I needed a mentor. And that does not take away from a trusted adult, from a parent, from a guardian, but the truth is, learning never stops. And learning changes when you reach out to different perspectives. It empowers you and it bolsters up your scaffolding to be able to see things at a different angle. Now, that's the first category. The second category is a mentee. It is so important for us to also give back and to mentor others as we have been mentored. As it's been given to us, we should give unto others. Maya Angelou said, when you learn, you teach. Your experiences matter wherever you are, whatever level you are. One thing that I had to learn, a very, very core principle that helped me understand the difference between the bridge in our communities was that everyone has a problem that's equally as important. When a newborn baby first comes out of the womb and they're trying to walk, if anyone has ever seen a newborn baby trying to get on their feet, they start on their stomach, they crawl at first, they get onto their bum, and when they stand up, they're so sure they've done it until they fall. And they get up again until they fall. And sooner or later, that same newborn will cry and cry and cry like the world has just ended. Their bottle taken away, they'll cry like the 31st is hit. And the first is on the approach, right? Like they just lost their car or they've just been laid off. But each and every single one of these problems that we might face, like an exam coming up that we have to cram and study for, like a 90% that we're scared could turn into an 89 and is a B on our report card that should have been an A. Each and every single one of these problems and these issues that we face are all seen at the same level of importance to us. And that's why our experience matters. Because when we reach out to someone that's coming up beneath us and behind us, as we look behind and pull them up further, it helps the community grow. Now, the third and final category of a relationship that we need to build is a peer. I have peers on this call today that have reached out to me and that have strengthened me and empowered me to say, hey, you got this. Now, even as someone who has a passion for connecting and speaking to others, it's hard because anxiety can creep in. And knowing if I can empower the other person listening can kick in. That's something that I face. But being someone who has a community around me and someone says, hey, you'll be okay, you got this, you've prepared. That is the core principle of iron sharpening iron. So it is very important to, one, get a mentor, two, find someone to mentee, grab a mentee, and to three, have a peer. Now, as this time comes up in November, in a couple days, right, less than 3 weeks, there's a very, very important election coming up. Make no mistake, we've already identified that this is not a vote for today, but it is a vote for tomorrow. The leaders that you will see and encounter on this call, granted, they cannot vote, but these are going to be the leaders who will cultivate a new world. Former President Obama said, "People don't expect government to solve all of their problems, but with a slight change in priorities, we can make sure that every child in America has a decent shot at life." He offered that in 2004. He didn't say that with a slight change in priorities, everyone will be great, or we'll try our best, but a decent shot at life to equal the playing field and give everyone a shot at equality and equity. What are we doing 20 whole years later to help foster and cultivate an environment where we can do just that? Where our young people don't have to feel that they can't reach out to someone else that's older than them, or reach out to someone and feel that their voice will be heard. Advocacy is so much more than just a vote. Advocacy is what fuels each and every single one of us. It lies within each and every single one of us. We all have that spirit inside of us. And today, I employ each and every one of you to do the research that matters. Mental health is important. 988 is a lifeline and a hotline that can save our youth. When they feel that they can't connect to others, they can call that line. They can text that line. We're using geolocation to make sure that someone in Arizona and California isn't reaching out to you to say, "How can I help?" But someone from your very county experiencing the same things that you go through can reach out to you and meet you where you are. This election is about going forward. We are not going back. Thank you everyone for listening, and I hope you enjoy the rest of this summit. Take care.
Wow. Wow. I'd like you to come back, turn your camera back on. I just want to say what a way to kick off a very important discussion. I am mesmerized by your words, but I am mesmerized by you. At 17 years old, you have seeped into our soul, our spirit, to let us know what counts and what matters, even beyond the election. So I applaud you. I'd like for you to stay on and kick off our first discussion on safety. And with you, I'd like to invite all of our young people that are going to be part of that discussion to turn your cameras on, and let's get started. And we're going to hone in on some of the very key points that Ayama just shared and just put on our soul. And we're going to start by introducing you all. Isaac, please introduce yourself.
Hi, how's everyone? My name is Isaac. I'm a part of the Jack and Jill America Montgomery County chapter.
Awesome, great. I'm so glad that you're here. Roderick, please introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. I am Roderick, and I am the National Top Teens of America president, and I am 16 years old.
Wonderful, great, nice to have you here. Chemistry, please introduce yourself. You're on mute. We're going to have someone backstage to help you get off mute. This is Chemistry. She's a member of the Youth Leadership Institute, and she's going to do a sound check, and we're going to get her back on as part of the discussion. Okay? Ethan, please introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Ethan. I'm 16 years old, and I'm a member of the college band.
Awesome. Great. We're glad that you're here. Andrew, please introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Andrew. I'm 16, and I'm a member of DC Kappa League.
Awesome. So glad that you're here. Catalina, please introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Catalina. I'm representing Delta Academy. I'm 11 years old. I'm in the 6th grade, and it's an honor to be on here with you guys.
This is absolutely amazing. If I don't say anything else the entire night, I want everybody that's tuned in to look at these young people and the other young people that will be joining them throughout this night, and to know that our future is in good hands. These are some absolutely amazing young people, and I want to salute not only them, but the organizations that they represent. These, each and every one of them have been nurtured not simply by their parents, but by their village, and their village includes the groups that they represent. So thank you so much for being here. I think the way we're going to get started is a little bit different than what I had planned, but not totally. I want to start with some of the key points that were brought out from our keynote speaker as he talked about advocacy, pressure, mental health, anxiety, and knowing that all of that has in some form, some shape or form, have to do with safety, right? And so I put that as a catalyst to lean into how we feel about safety. So my question for each one of you, and if you could just raise your hand, and also if you are listening in, please go ahead and use the questions and answer feature of this Zoom call. We want to hear from you. We have chat monitors on standby that are waiting to read any questions or comments that you have. And also, if you see the reaction button, please use that. Let's lift these young people up to let them know that their voice really does matter. And as you also post your questions and or your comments into the Zoom call, be mindful that these are youth. We want to keep everything positive, and we want to keep everything with the intent, and that is to let them know that their voice really does matter. And we want to do so in a very positive way. With that said, how do you all feel when it comes to safety in your school and in your environments, such as the places where you worship, the places where you shop, recreation centers? How does that feel with the context of pressure or just safety as a whole? What are your thoughts about that? Isaac?
Yeah, I can go ahead and answer that one. I think safety is paramount in everyone's lives. And so I think being in a place where you feel safe and secure is really important to foster those senses of advocacy and express those sentiments that I am so well talked about. And so I think being in a place where you feel safe and you know that regardless of how you feel or the ideas you may express, you'll be safe and respected and treated with dignity. So I think that's really important.
I love that. I think you're right. What do you think, Roderick?
I wholeheartedly agree with everything that Isaac stated. It is very important that, like, especially in like schools, in places where you worship, especially those places where we go and we're there because they are like, they're supposed to be our safe havens. If we don't feel safe there, then it's like we have to figure something else out, you know? So I feel like it's also very important to make sure that those places especially are very heavily secured and protected.
That was awesome, Roderick. Thank you for that. We hear a lot about, when we turn on the news, we're hypersensitive to anything that goes on in schools, such as, gun violence and things like that, even drugs and alcohol. That all has an impact, right, on our safety. Do you feel like it may not be in your school, but as a society, it's something that we, in terms of a message to our voters, is something that we need to pay attention to? And in that realm, is it something that we should carry to the poll? Should we look for a candidate that values those same things to protect us from things that may make us feel unsafe? Yes, I am.
Right. So, good evening, everyone, again. I mean, this is something that is actually very, very close to me. I don't know if anyone else remembers the fentanyl outbreak that really rampaged Prince George's County and the entire country, if I may. It was so important that we reached out to these communities and stopped that outbreak that we had done a PSA. And we sent it to the federal level. And the main theme of that PSA was just don't do it. Just don't do it. It was claiming lives of the youth, us, as young as 13 years old. If that's important to you, when we talk about safety, when we talk about longevity in communities and success that we're bringing to our communities, you're taking that away from us. We're lowering the possibilities of these communities being able to thrive with these problems as simple as prescription drugs being free, right? Being as in free, like just easy to get a hold of, right? Where's the safety? Where's the constraint around those certain and particular topics? When we talk about gun safety, right? The gun laws, who is really going to make sure that the National Rifle Association, right? The NRA, who's going to keep those people in check? Who's going to make sure that the even our own communities who might hurt each other, what are we doing to restrict that access, right? And it's present all over in our young communities. And what I've faced personally in school, right? The fear of having to call my mom to say, hey, mom, you know, there's a school shooter, or hey, mom, there's an event going on that's nearby. I just want to let you know that I'm hiding and doing my best, right? As a mother, as a father, as a guardian, what does that do to you? For you to say this vote isn't about me, but this vote is about the ones that I'm raising, the ones that I'm looking after, right? That means we need to check in with them and say, hey, what are some of the things that are bothering you in school, in your communities? When you go to the rec and you try to play basketball, but there's only one basketball that's pumped and the other ones aren't, right? But when we go an hour up north, they're prestigious, right? What are we doing to combat those things? So those are really, really important topics that hit close to home for me. But that's just what I wanted to kind of put my 2 cents in for that topic.
Thank you so much. We have time for one final question, and then we're going to switch to something that is very familiar and very relatable to what we've been talking about on safety, and that's bullying. My final question for you all is this. How important is it to be accountable for your actions when it comes to safety and any other issues that impact yourselves and others, especially as a leader? How important is it for your leader that you select, that you vote for, to be accountable for his or her actions when it comes to not only her or his safety, but your safety and mine? Who would like to take that last question? Andrew.
I think that accountability is like very important for like your safety, because like depending on what you do, you can put yourself in danger. And I think that like being accountable and like being a leader and like not just like following what other people are doing is like important, because if you just follow like the pack and follow what they're doing, you can you can endanger yourself.
There you go. That's a great way to end a very good discussion. We're going to have you guys go backstage temporarily. Don't leave me, because at the very end, we're going to bring you all back and we're going to have our call to action. What do we want our voters to know? So hang out. I'm going to call you back. And now I'd like to bring up our young people that are going to talk about and have a very candid discussion on bullying. As we make the shift, I want to turn to my chat monitors to see if there are any comments or any questions in the chat.
Yes, there is a question in the chat.
Okay.
The question is, just bear with me. What motivates you most about voting in this election if you're eligible? And those who aren't able to vote, what action will you take in the final 19 days to help get out the vote and make your voices heard? So that's something the young people can think about. Thank you for that question.
Voters, that's a question for all of us. We need to do something. We're listening to them, and we've got to go out, as our keynote said, and advocate for them. And we do that with our vote. We are going to get started with introductions. Here they come. Look at them, looking amazing. I'm so proud of each and every one of you. Let us now introduce ourselves, starting with Corinne.
Hello, my name is Corinne. I'm 11 years old. I'm a member of the Youth Leadership Institute.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Josephine.
Hi, my name is Josephine, and I'm in the 8th grade, and I'm 13 years old.
Welcome. Taylor.
Hello, my name is Taylor. I'm in Jack and Jill. I'm 16 years old, and I am legislative.
Awesome. Well, we're fortunate. We've got two Taylors. Taylor.
Hello, my name is Taylor. I am 15 years old, and I am the National Parliamentarian of Top Teens of America.
Welcome, Madison.
Hello, my name is Madison. I'm 17 years old, and I'm with College Bound.
Welcome, and Alexander.
Hello, my name is Alexander. I'm 16. I'm with Washington, D.C. Capitol.
I love it. I'm so glad that all of you guys are here. All right. So when you think of bullying, you heard the last discussion. What comes to mind? Give me an example of bullying. What is bullying? Help voters to understand really what is it that we're voting for. Yes, Alexander.
I would say bullying is like, well, the simple part, I guess, is say like it's just like teasing somebody, and making fun of them. And most of the time, when people are bullying somebody else, it's mainly because they're jealous of something they have or something that the other person has done.
Absolutely. And so, with the show of hands, thank you for that. How many of us have been bullied? How many of us have seen other people that have been bullied? How many of us have bullied someone? Whatever lens that we have, and we all do it knowingly or unknowingly sometimes, right? But when we have been bullied, we know we've been bullied, right? Sometimes when we bully other people, we don't know it. But the result is the same. Somebody is hurt in some form or fashion. And there's different ways to bully, to bullying somebody. And Alexandra, you just spoke of one. I don't know if all of you have it, but how many of you have social media? A simple like or dislike, right? I don't think you can dislike on many of these platforms, but if you don't mention it at all, you don't say anything of something that's important to somebody, could be a form of bullying depending on your lens. There's other bullying too that we see in schools. Does anybody have any examples of bullying that you may see in your schools? Josephine?
Something I see in my school very often is when so it's mostly the boys in my school, but they'll come after someone and there's nothing that person getting talked about or teased can say, and they can't say anything back because they're always ready with some type of thing, and it's mostly just picking fun, and they target a person and they just pick on them for a long time.
And that's never okay. That is never okay. And so when it comes to bullying and it comes to letting us know as voters, I am a voter too, as well as the other adults on this call, and maybe even some of you, depending on your age and where you live, you may be eligible to vote. What do you want us to know with regards to bullying? What can we do when we go to the polls? What are we voting for? Yes, Madison.
One thing I would definitely say that you should be voting for is stronger policies and enforcement in terms of online bullying, because while I think definitely a lot of focus should be on the in-person bullying that happens in schools, what's even worse sometimes and more unnoticed is the online bullying that can happen, especially with tools like deepfakes and AI that people are using to create fake images of other students and peers in their community, and the negative effects that can have on a person's mental health, the way they interact with other students and just their social life is really pervasive. And I think that's definitely something that should be thought about in terms of voting and the policies that your representatives are passing.
I received that. So thank you for sharing that, Taylor.
Kind of to piggyback off what Madison said, also just focusing on the mental health aspect of that. I know there's no policy you can possibly pass that will stop bullying entirely. However, I do believe that voters should keep in mind candidates that will pass policies to help student mental health after they're bullied, or to stop it in the first place, stop them from bullying others. Those can just be simple things that can help mitigate bullying and combat it.
Thank you so much for that. This is awesome. Look at all of the hand claps and the hearts coming up for just your words of wisdom. I have one more question for this group, and then I'm going to switch over to education. And that is, how important is it for our leaders to lead by example when it comes to combating bullying? Josephine.
It's important because you lead by example. If you see bullying and if you receive reports from schools and you just ignore it and you don't do anything about it, that shows you're a bad leader, and that shows that we shouldn't have voted for you and we made the wrong decision. I think when you see bullying or you hear about bullying, you need to do something about it. Even if you're a school board leader or a teacher or a principal, you need to do something about it, because those are the kind of leaders we want leading schools and churches and whatnot. We don't want leaders who will see something and then make it go unnoticed.
What a way to end this discussion. I love that. Thank you so very much. All right, all of our amazing youth leaders, we're going to bring you backstage, but don't go far. We're going to bring you up at the very end so you can let us know your final words in terms of the call to action for what you want us to know as voters. So as we make the transition, I want to invite our panelists that are going to come up and talk about education. As we do and as we wait for them to come on camera, I would also invite Colton and Miss Andrea to let us know if there are any questions or comments in the chat.
All the comments in the chat are just saying great job to our young people. So we are very grateful for their wisdom and just happy that they are here to share their knowledge with all of us. Very excited.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so very much for that. I love it. Let's get started. Jaden, introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Jaden. I'm 12 years old. And I'm with the Youth Leadership Institute.
Welcome, Jaden. Kendall, introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Kendall. I'm 12 years old and I'm with the Youth Leadership Institute.
Wonderful. Welcome, Kendall. Chrisette, introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Chrisette, and I am the National Recording Secretary of Top Teens of America, and I am 16 years old.
Awesome. Welcome. Cam, introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Cam. I'm in the 8th grade. I'm 13 and I'm with Kappa League.
Wonderful. Welcome. Trey, introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Trey. I'm 17. I am a site ambassador.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Trey, your mic is going in and out on us. Trey, do me one favor, just momentarily. Go backstage and we're going to have our folks to help you with your mic and bring you back. But everyone, this is Trey from College Bound. Welcome, Trey. Kerrigan, introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Kerrigan. I'm 11 years old and I'm with the Youth Leadership Institute.
Welcome. Devereaux, introduce yourself.
My name is Devereaux. I'm 17 years old and I'm a senior. I'm a member of the Jack and Jill Montgomery County, Maryland chapter.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I am so glad that you guys are here. And you're closing us out with a very important topic, and that is education. Because even as a voter who has gone through all of the grades that each one of you are in and beyond, I know how important education is to me. So right now, I like to know, how important is education to you? How important is it to you, Devereaux?
Education is really important to me because I think that it shapes how we understand the world and it gives us the tools to grow intellectually. I think that it's not only about passing tests or learning facts, it's about developing critical thinking and understanding different perspectives. For me personally, education provides foundation for exploring my passions like biology and history, and it just allows me to stay curious and connect to the present.
I love that. We each have different learning styles. And so how important is it with regards to how you learn that the teachers caters to each of the different learning styles? How important is that? How they do it is a whole different question, but how important is that, Jaden?
It's very important for teachers to cater to each learning style so everyone has a chance to earn education and understand the content and be able to apply it to their life.
I love that. Thank you so much. Cam, did you have something to say about that?
Yeah, I just wanted to add on, and I think it's paramount that the teachers cater to their students' different intellectual capabilities, whether that be an ability or a disability. And I think it's if your teacher can't do that, then they're not able to provide you with the sufficient education so that you can all still be on a level playing field when it's time to go to college or even a job career after that.
That's awesome. Kerrigan, I'm going to give you another question, and that is, as a student, do you often feel heard by your teachers? And if so, how important is that?
I feel like it's very important to be heard by your teachers because many students go through things, whether it's in school or out of school, at home or not. And I think that teachers should be open to listen to your problems. And also, to the first question, I think education is really important and all teachers should be open to teaching every learning style. And we need a leader that makes it a priority to fix issues in the educational system.
I love it. I love it. You know, we talk about learning styles. We talked about making sure that we're heard in the classroom. You know, we also have to talk about the tools that we're given to learn, such as books and other types of technology. Do you think that our educational system should insist that we're given all of the tools, all of the books to make sure that we see ourselves as part of this whole learning experience so that we can also aspire to do whatever we can think of in terms of what our future holds for us? Cam?
Yes, absolutely. I completely agree with that statement. I think it's very important that the institutions and the educational systems that us children are placed in do have the things that we need so that we can be successful. I know as of right now, some do, some don't. So I think it's also very important that we elect a leader that's a priority for them, allowing every student, every child to, have what they need to succeed in their education.
Very awesome. I could not agree more. And thank you for sharing that with me as a voter. Kendall, what do you think?
I was going to say some of the same things as he was, and he kind of said what I was going to say.
And that's okay. Chrisette.
Okay, I do actually think that this is very, very crucial because without any student that cannot learn, if a student cannot learn, I do believe that if one fails, all of them fail. I do not believe in there will be a few, I do not believe in a few succeeding and then the majority not succeeding. I do not believe in the majority succeeding and the minority not succeeding. I believe that everyone should be brought up and everyone should be accommodated, especially as someone that is hard of hearing. I do actually advocate for myself, and every single year I send an email to my teachers to let them know of my accommodations and let them know what to do. That way there is no loss of communication, and that way there is also absolutely no excuse for any teacher or anyone to be confused about what my accommodations are.
I absolutely love that. How many of you all think that the conversation starts and stops with your teacher? How many of you believe that? Who else can help with this process? What do you think? Cam?
I think in addition to just talking to your teacher, I think it's good to talk to maybe a counselor or something like that, because if you talk to them and then they talk to the teacher, it's like an adult to adult conversation. So, because I know sometimes students may not be taken as seriously as they should be. So I think if you talk to another adult and then that adult talks to the teacher, or whether that be your parent, a counselor, or even a higher up administrator, I think that's a very easy and direct way to get with you.
How many of you think that the school board has any impact over some of the things that go on in the education system? Yeah. How many folks think that the school board is governed by county laws and regulations when it comes to education? How many of you all think that what gets funded in terms of what resources are available to you, right? We mentioned disabilities. They have to have accommodations, right, to have those types of things. How many of you all think that the rules, the policies, and those that are voted in versus those that are appointed at the school board has anything to do with your critical education? Same thing, we talked about safety and bullying. It may not be the school board, but I can bet your bottom dollar that it is those elected officials or appointed officials that will make sure that we're safe, that there are rules and everything that's in place to help from bullying. So my question is this, and we're going to bring everybody back on. How important is it for your leader to lead by example, to make sure that your voices really are heard and matter, and they're putting things in place to make sure that your education is secure, your future is secure, and that you have what you need to succeed? What are your thoughts about that? Kendall.
My thoughts are that this is really important because if one of your leaders or somebody that you look up to is promoting things like this, they're going to listen to you and help speak up more. And that can really change, that can make a really big impact on that person and whatever topic they're discussing.
I love that. Chrisette.
I do want to say for all leaders, whether or not you are in the education field, you are essentially molding the future. You are responsible for these students, and you are responsible for how they are going to mentally maintain the information that you give them and maintain the support. And you are actually supposed to be part of their support system. You have a direct impact on these kids. I do have certain teachers that I still remember every single word that they have said, and it has had a direct impact on me. And I know that without that, I would not be here. So please remember that you are molding the future. What future do you want your kids to see? Whether or not you do actually have your own personal kids, or these are your students, or these are your actual kids, or your cousins, or your nieces, or your nephews. What future do you want to see?
I love that. I love everything that you guys have said. Thank you so much. I want you to stay with me. I want to invite all of our youth leaders to join you on stage as we get ready for what we're going to call the call to action. As they come up, turn their cameras on, I want to invite Ms. Andrea back and to see if there are any questions or comments in the chat. And then we're going to go through the call to action. So be prepared for that.
All right, thank you so much. Yes, there were a number of questions that addressed whether or not there is concern that school loan debt will affect their aspirations to become their political aspirations. So that's something for you young people to think about. But most of the comments address that you all are doing, again, a wonderful job. We appreciate your wisdom, and we're certainly learning from you and listening to you. So thank you.
Thank you so much. I am going to turn it over now to our young people. Let us know what they want our voters to hear, what they want us to know, what you all want us to do. Kendall.
Please check your voting status on www.vote.org because we need you to vote for a candidate that makes safety a priority and address gun violence in our schools.
Thank you so much. Jaden.
Please carefully research all candidates on the ballot and select the best candidate.
Thank you for that. Kerrigan.
Please know where your voting location is and be sure that it has not changed.
Thank you for that. Devereaux.
If you have a mail-in ballot, make sure to mail it in before the deadline because we need a leader that has the compassion to put measures in place to stop bullying.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Taylor with Top Teens of America.
If you plan to vote early, find out when you can go and try to go early because we need you to vote for a leader that does not misuse social media, understands how it can be used for good, and puts measures in place to make people and companies accountable for misuse.
Love that. Caitlin.
Be sure to sign or fill out the ballot properly because we want your vote to count.
Thank you for that. Corinne.
Do not wear clothes that support one candidate over the other because you will not be allowed to enter your voting location and vote for the candidate that respects my mental and physical health enough to do something about it.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Madison.
Have a voting plan because we need you to vote for a candidate that will work towards continuous improvement of our educational system.
Thank you for that. Taylor with Jack and Jill.
We are hoping that the lines will be long, so bring snacks, water, and a folding chair, and vote for a candidate that values the teaching of our history, the good and not so good, This helps us all to identify and develop our authentic self.
Thank you so much for that. Josephine?
Have fun and bring other voters with you because we need all of you to vote for all of us.
Thank you so much for that. Roderick?
Vote for those who can't. Vote for a future you want your kids to see, for without a future, where would we go?
Thank you so much for that. Chemistry?
Vote, vote, vote.
Okay. Thank you for that. You, Mary?
Vote.
Thank you. Chrisette?
Please vote.
Thank you. Trey?
Please vote.
Ethan?
Please vote for the candidate that best represents the principles you're looking for in your community.
I love that. Thank you. Kendall?
Please vote.
Thank you. Ayama?
Please make sure you guys vote. It is absolutely important.
All right. Catalina?
Please vote to make our country safe.
Love that. Mary?
Vote. Please vote.
Thank you. Cam?
Please vote.
Awesome. We've heard from our amazing youth leaders. I absolutely love each and every one of you. You all need to give yourselves a round of applause. Found the applause button. If you can see it, you did an amazing job, and you have parted words on us in terms of your advocacy for the vote so that we can advocate for you. And I could not be more proud. I could not be more proud. And so I am so excited and so grateful to each one of you. Now we're going to ask all of you to go backstage. We're going to ask Tristan to properly introduce Miss Holly. You've seen her backstage, but we're going to bring her on and to kind of co-sign based on what she's heard you say and the roles that she has with it when it comes to advocacy. Tristan?
Holly L. Holliday, Esquire, currently serves as the president of Sister Leads Sister Vote, a 501c4 organization to expand Black women's leadership, voices, and politics. Ms. Holly managed and or advised over 300 campaigns as campaign manager. She works tirelessly to amplify Black women's voices, advance Black women's political leadership, and expand Black women's opportunities. Ms. Holly is also CEO and JEDI Masters for Holiday Advisors LLC, where she advises progressive organizations, political campaigns as democratic committees on justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion strategies. Ms. Holly is a 25-year member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, a graduate of Howard University and the University of Missouri, Kansas City School of Law. Please give a warm welcome to Miss Holly.
Thank you, Tristan. This is such a full circle moment for me. I so appreciate that introduction. It was wonderful. Well, listen, I am not going to stay long because let's face it, the youth have said it all, and I could not be more proud. A little while last year, this wonderful group of students invited me to do a little workshop that I call Your Voice Matters. And you know, I do this workshop with adults, and I have to tell you, sometimes it's like pulling teeth. But this group of young people, it was a breeze because as you could see tonight, they are full of opinions, good ideas and suggestions and recommendations. So if you're not fired up to vote, I don't know what else one can do. So let me just say this in a few words. First and foremost, let's make sure that if you haven't already, that you have verified your registration. Make sure that you have verified your registration. And then once you verified your registration, identify 10 people in your network. You know the people I'm talking about. Maybe they're in college. Maybe they're seniors. Maybe they're newly naturalized. Maybe they're returning citizens. Maybe they're in a group where, you know, they've said to you actively, we don't know if we're going to vote or not. Yeah, those people. And let's make sure that they're verified and able to vote. Then let's put together a vote plan. What does a vote plan include? Well, it's simple. A vote plan simply includes making sure that you not only are verified to vote, but that you know how and when that vote is going to happen. For many states, we are already in early vote. So believe it or not, people are already voting. In fact, in Georgia, more than 1 million people have voted. And I want to make sure that each and every one of you are amongst that number. The second thing you need to think about is if you're not voting early, maybe you're voting absentee. Make sure that you complete the ballot and all of the absentee instructions and get it back in a way that's appropriate. Some states you have to actually mail. Some states you also may need to get a notary. Some states like Maryland, you can just put in DC, you can just put it in a drop box. And then finally, you can vote on election day. Whichever way you decide to vote, be it early, by mail, or on election day, the most important thing is that you vote and that you take everyone that you can with you and that they also have a plan to vote. And then once you've done that, then spend the rest of the time calling and reminding and texting people that they need to vote. This is one of the most consequential elections of our lifetime, and the next one may be too. But let's make sure that we have done everything we can to honor exactly what the youth have shared with us today and vote. I'm going to turn this program back over to our amazing host, Miss Angela, and let you close us out. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. And thank you for all that have given me the privilege and the honor to moderate this awesome and amazing discussion. I could not thank you more. I thank these young people and all that have nurtured them to actually be bold and brave enough to share their voice and to tell us really what matters. And to all of you that are tuned in, you could be watching football or doing all these other amazing things, but you opted to be here. And so we are incredibly grateful. Please tell somebody. If you know anybody that is on the fence, this is not the time to be on the fence. Vote for the candidate that you believe in, but do vote. Don't hone in on any one issue. We've got enough issues that we can look at holistically to make this world the type of world that we want to live in. And we cannot do that on the sidelines. We've got to get out to vote. I'm now going to turn it over to Ms. Terrell. She's going to give us some closing remarks. Right after that, we're going to have Miss Mary, and she is going to introduce you to our spoken word artist. And then we're going to close this out with those spoken words. Thank you so very much again for the opportunity to spend this time with each and every one of you.
Good evening, everyone. And I agree, Holly. After all that we have seen and heard from our young people, there is not a lot more that needs to be said. So I will simply take this time to say, on behalf of the members of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Rho Mu Omega Chapter, and DC Pearls 3 Foundation, thank you so much for joining us on this beautiful Sunday afternoon to hear from our talented, courageous, and outstanding youth. To all of the participating organizations, College Bound, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, Jack and Jill of America Incorporated, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, and Top Teens of America, thank you for joining forces with us today. To each of our youth participants who served as panelists, keynote speaker, and the spoken word artist that you will hear coming up next, to their parents and the leads of the various organizations, thank you so much for committing your time and energy. To all of our attendees who dialed in to hear from the young people and have accepted the call to action, thank you. To our chapter president, Miss Arnitra Duckett, member, Miss Holly Holiday, Empower Our Families lead, Miss Shauna Berry, and the Youth Leadership Institute Committee, thank you for not only your support, but active involvement to make this afternoon possible. And last but certainly not least, many, many thanks to the leads of Rho Mu Omega's Youth Leadership Institute, Mrs. Angela Thompson and Mrs. Andrea Johnson, for all of your hard work and dedication to amplify the voices of our youth. We appreciate you both. In a little over 2 weeks, and right now in some places across our country, we the people have the opportunity to use our voice and choice Do not miss the chance to activate your power. Vote. Thank you. Turning it over to Mary.
At 21 years old, Trey Baker is a 2 times Emmy-nominated and award-winning spoken word artist, an education advocate, and author who has partnered with Scholastic Publishing Company to be the next Rising Voices mentor and author for his upcoming children's book, and Rise's Voice collection. Additionally, he serves as the special advisor to the Obama Foundation's My Brother's Keeper Alliance, and has performed for and been awarded by President Obama for his youth activism and leadership in storytelling. He is also a senior at DePaul University, where he's majoring in peace, justice, and conflict studies. Trey could not be with us today and sends his regards. Let us turn our attention to a video that he prepared just for us.
A voice. We're born unknowing of its weight. Our first words begin the search to find the scale that awaits what words can really create. The rhythmic tone that is your identity speaks for every moment and pieces them into a journey. Our voice. The most unique thing we own, and yet the hardest thing to sell. It's the sound that shows and tells. It takes courage to find it. It doesn't come easy. No, you can't, you will never. Words of defeat that tell our voice, sit down, take a seat, you're not ready. Feeling like every time you try to speak, nothing comes out. Do you know how many times I've been told to quit, give up, even die? Running around thinking every truth was a lie. That's why you can't always do what you're told. If I did, I wouldn't be here. So walk that path to find who you really are, because you really are who you are. Let it be known. A body connected to its voice creates spirit that can rejoice. Our presence becomes present in every room that needs light. So make room for your right to speak. My voice tears down hate. So it is here I state. My voice is bold. My voice is relentless. My voice is comforting. My voice is soulful. My voice is me. So let your voice be you. But to make jazz, you need a good ear too. So start every day by listening so the mind is clear. Your canvas is ready. May the colors of your sound paint the picture that tells your story. With every brushstroke, speak for the truth. Listen to your roots. This isn't an end to an essay, so I can't conclude. The lights are on, this is the stage. Welcome to your debut. So tell your family and your friends, make a plan. Knowledge is power to make change. Just like I use my pen to find glory, this is the road to the next chapter of the American story. Democracy is where we stand. Never forget, the office of the citizen is the highest in the land. Peace.